So here's a short and simple class for those of you who are either brand new to Pilates or fairly new to Pilates and just want to get the basics really bedded in well. We're going to start in standing, and you're going to have your feet width apart underneath your hip sockets, not underneath where you think your thighs are. And you're going to fan out your toes and your fingers. Now you're checking that your feet are parallel, and the reason we do that is so that when you are around in life and just walking along and standing and doing the dishes and on the phone and whatever, you start to make this a habit that your feet are parallel, that you're not turning one leg out or the other leg out. If we turn a leg out, then we're usually firing up the glutes a little bit more, and it starts to tighten into the hip and the buttock area and create imbalance around the feet, the knees, and the pelvis. So we want to get used to that feeling of being straight. And when I first started Pilates many years ago, and I first stood straight, probably the first time in my life, I literally was like that. Not even felt like that. I actually looked like that. My knees were turned in. But after a little while, the muscles start to adjust and lengthen in certain places and tighten in others, and it becomes habit. So close your eyes. Take your attention to the softness of your feet. A few deep breaths in and out. Just rocking from the ankles forwards and back. You're not lifting your heels, you're not lifting your toes. You're just swaying, and as you sway, you'll feel, ooh, when you go back, you'll feel how your tummy muscles tighten to hold you up. And when you go forwards, you'll feel how your lower back squeezes to hold you up. So just observing that your core is working already. And then pause when the weight is in the middle of your foot. Let's go left and right, shifting the weight from side to side. As you do that, begin to draw up on your knees and thighs. And a little squeeze of bottom and pelvic floor. The pelvic floor is your undercarriage. It's holding all the internal organs in. It's supporting your sort of, pressure in your diaphragm and your abdominal cavity. So it's supporting the pressure in there. So it's really important that we have our pelvic floor working properly, but that also means relaxing properly. So at this point, you're just aware of a soft lift, maybe 10%, just a feeling of, oh, okay. And that sends the energy up through your spine. Start to lift your heart. Allow your collarbones to melt open so that there's space across the front of your chest. You might feel your upper back squeezing a little bit, but be careful you're not doing that with your ribs. So your rib cage is tucked down, your heart is lifted. I sometimes even put my hand on my chest like this, and my other hand on my ribs, because I tend to be a bit of a rib poker, and I hinge from here. So it's about keeping your ribs anchored down, lifting your heart into your hand, and then swaying left and right, and just aware of not collapsing, lifting the heart and the sternum up, which actually changes your mood and changes your outlook and feels nice and positive. And then the arms can just hang off that frame beautifully. Pause when you're in the center. Retract your chin. Make 5 jowly chins. Not down with your head, but just pull back. Knees off. Exhale, pull back. Notice the shoulders might want to collapse forwards here. Keep them back. Ease off with your neck. And one more time, pull back. Ease off a little bit. Turn your face to the right, squeeze it there. Drop your chin down and across your chest, smoothly go around to your left. Inhale. Down and across and around to your right again, heart lifting. Keep your breastbone lifted so that when you go down with your face around to the other side, you're not collapsing your energy. Bring your face to the center, left ear to left shoulder. A little nod or a circle, some kind of release in your neck. Feel that nice stretch. And then start to circle. If you've gone to your left with your head, start to circle your right shoulder, the one that you're leaning away from. Lift it up, roll it back, press it down, lift it up, roll it back, press it down. Have you still got a bit of a squeeze on your legs? A couple more. Round again. Roll the chin down into the middle of your chest. Retract your chin, begin to bring your face back to the center into 5 jowly chins. Ease off a little bit. Right ear to right shoulder. Have a nod, circle with your nose, move in whatever direction feels nice. It might be that you get a good stretch looking up. It might be that you get a better stretch looking down. Play around with that. And then leaving your head on one side here, start to circle your opposite shoulder. So if your head is onto your right, you're now circling your left shoulder, forwards, up, back and down, forwards, up, back and down. Good, 2 more. Reach down, roll the chin into the middle of your chest. Now interlock your fingers behind your bottom, straighten your arms down as best you can, lift your head a little bit, but still have your chin down a smidge, and see if you can lift your chest, tuck your ribs in, but squeeze your shoulders back. And if you can keep your palms together, great. If you have to let them come apart, that's fine, but try not to let them do this with your wrists. Try and keep them splinted so the wrist isn't at an angle. And then you're going to keep this engaged, your tummy, and breathe here into your collarbone. So you'll feel that area rise. And as you exhale, reach down with your knuckles. Inhale, feel the collarbone area rise. Exhale, squeeze your shoulder blades towards each other. One more time, inhale. And on this one, as you exhale, can you lift your arms away from you at all? It'll depend on your shoulder flexibility and your strength. Reach, 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 knuckles going towards the floor, lengthening the arms as straight as you can muster. And release the arms down. Roll your shoulders a couple of times, have a little wriggle on the floor. And then feet still hip width, are they? We're going to slide down an imaginary wall. So pretend the back of your head, shoulder blades and pelvis are against a wall. You will have a natural arch in your neck and a natural arch behind your waist. And you just let your knees buckle forwards, pointing forwards. If that feels sore on your knees, don't go so low. Let's do it again. Slide down the wall. Up you come to standing. And again, slide down the wall. So get used to moving in neutral. And up you come. Keeping your pelvis just hanging vertically. Squeeze. Down. Come up and squeeze your thighs and your bottom down. Now on this one, if you can, come through flat feet, peel your heels up and see if you can come into a balance if your toe joints will allow. It's always good to have the feet articulating and moving. And then come down with flat feet parallel again, slide down the wall. Coming up, squeeze your thighs bottom up onto your toes. Now most people, when they do this for the first few times and they're not used to doing Pilates, when they get to this point, flat feet, they come up and their bum goes out, which means their head goes forwards. So as you transfer from flat feet up onto the balls of your feet, just very slightly push your pelvis forward so it's under your shoulder girdle, and that will send you up in a nice straight line. Come down, slide down the wall. Coming up, squeeze your hips forward a little bit. Nice. One more time. And then pause when you're in standing. Your feet are still straight, arms out in front of you. Set your shoulders down, inhale. And then draw your left thumb towards your armpit. Turn and look at your elbow that's going behind you. Reach your other arm forwards. Come back to the center. Right arm, pull back. Come back to the middle. Left arm. Coming back to the middle. Right arm. So you're twisting your ribs, you're getting some thoracic rotation, trying to keep your hips forward facing, getting the movement in the spinal area and the shoulders and the chest, not moving your hips. Your hips will want to swing back with you. See if you can keep these headlamps on the front facing forwards. Twice more. Reach it out in front of you. One more time. And then come back to the center and release your arms down. So you're standing at the back of the mat. You're going to step forwards with one leg. You're going to come down with your hands on that knee and then come into kneeling. Head, shoulders, hips and knees in line. You're going to tighten your bottom. You're going to keep your pelvis hanging vertically, not stick it out. So there's a little bit of push here. Inhale. Lean back a little way. And come back up to vertical. Now, if your ankles hate this, you could roll up a towel or a cushion and put it under the front of your ankles under here so that you've got a little space and you're allowed to then point your toe, you're able to then point your toes rather than having your feet flexed. It's quite hard to do this move with your feet like that. It's not very nice on the toes. So if you can support your ankles, then do. So as you go back, you're letting your head rest on the headrest in the car. Just stay there for a moment. Should feel your thighs working, yeah? Use your bottom to help you. Use your tummy to help you. Don't let the thighs do it all. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Up to vertical, inhale. Exhale, lean back, squeeze. And up to vertical. Going to add the two things together, the arms and the legs. Arms out in front of you, inhale. And as you lean back, twist your right thumb to your armpit, turn and look at your right elbow. Come forwards and come up. And then the left. Turn and look behind you. And up to the top. Squeezing your legs, right. And up. Nice. One more time each side. So we're starting to fire up these core muscles, thinking about our posture, improving our rotation in our spine, strengthening our legs, and then pause here. Bring your hands down, come onto all fours. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Now your head is in line with your spine. If you need to kneel on a cushion, you can do that. I want you to think of your spine like a snake. Do you remember when you were a kid and you had one of those wooden snakes that you held the tail and did that, and it kind of articulated and wriggled on the floor? So that's what we're going to do here. I want you to let your bottom stick up. Notice your waist will want to drop. You allow it to, but you've got your tummy slightly lifting. Then your ribs want to sink through and your heart comes up and your head comes up. Now your tendency will be to shift the weight back. I want you to keep the weight forwards in your hands. Now we're going to go from the other end again. Tail tuck under. Don't move your head yet. Waist comes up. Ribs start to come up. Shoulder blades round, and then your head goes down. Go again. Tail, pelvis, waist, ribs, chest, neck, head. And then tail, pelvis, wheels under, round, out the waist, push the floor away, spread your shoulder blades apart. Should feel nice, rippling through the spine. Now you could be on your knuckles. If you absolutely hate doing it on your palms, you could be on your knuckles. You could do this in standing with bent legs. Rest your hands on your bent legs. One more time. Ripple, round, head left, tail, waist, ribs, chest open, heart lifted, head up. And then find the midpoint. Now, I want you to find that natural arch again. So you're not sagging, nor are you flat. You've got a little natural arch in your lower back. Your tummy's going to support you from the front. And to make sure you've got space in front of you and behind you, inhale. And as you exhale, slide your right leg back until it's stiff and straight. It'll want to bend, tighten your knee, draw up on your thigh. Can you feel how your body's wanting to rock to one side? I want you to try and keep it equally weighted in the middle. Squeeze that leg and lift it straight. And then bring it down and slide your knee under, control the landing. Other leg slides back. Pull up on your kneecap and front thigh. Keep your pelvis level. Squeeze your bottom and lift. Bring the straight leg down and under. Let's go on the other side again. Slide your leg out, tighten your thigh, lift from the hips and down, you come on under. So by lifting with a straight leg, you're firing up your bottom and your lower back. And at the moment, your head is in line, your shoulders are still. One more time each leg, right leg and squeeze and lift. Inhale, come down and under. You've still got that little lumbar hollow. Now let's go with the arms. So you're going to leave your knees on the floor. Inhale. One arm goes forwards. Float the hand up, let it be floppy. Let the elbow be floppy and bring it down. And then the other side, float your arm forwards and bring it down. Now what tends to happen here is people focus on, oh, I must reach a long way forwards. And by doing that, they shrug their shoulder up around the ear. I want you to set your shoulder down and think of having a lovely big space, keep going, between your ear and your shoulder. Your head is central, it's in line, your pelvis isn't moving, you're firing up the back of your body. One more time, exhale, lengthen the arm, float it up and down. So now we're going to put those two things together. Take a breath in, fire up your tummy first. We're going to float the left arm forward, squeeze the right leg back and lift. Bring them down and slide underneath you. Opposite arm, float the arm forward, straighten the leg behind you, then lift. Down and under. So can you see that you're actually trailing your hand and your knee on your toe on the floor? And then you lift when you're at sort of full length, if you like, so that you're not trying to lift from the outset. You slide along the mat first, then squeeze when the leg is straight and lift. down and under. So the less you are rocking from side to side, the more you're stabilizing with your pelvis, the hip that's supporting you, that's on the floor. Your diagonal tummy muscles are working, your back is working, and this alternating pattern of using one arm and the opposite leg is firing up the muscles from the base of your skull down to your tailbone. So it's a really good pattern of movement for people to strengthen the muscles supporting their spine. It's like a chain reaction. Last two. You wouldn't be firing them up if you swung all over the place and did it with less control. So the control matters. One more. Good. From there, sit back, bottom towards heels, and you have cushion behind your knees if you need to. Reach forward, sink your head down. Reach out, reach out, reach out. Stretch around the sides of your shoulders. Big breath in. And a sigh out. One more time. Uncurl your spine. So we're going to do a little bit of waist work. Turn onto your side and face me. We'll do a little bit on one side, then we'll do our tummy on our lying on our backs, and then we'll do a little bit on the other side. So we're not going to do many of these because they're quite tough when you're just starting. But I'll give you the basic level, and then you can have a go and see how you get on. You're going to be propped up on your elbow here. And notice our tendency is we want to sag the ribs, the shoulder comes up, and the spine is hanging like a sort of banana. So this top hip, you push it away from you. Your rib cage comes up. Can you see that? Then you're going to make sure that that elbow isn't too far out. It's vertically, directly underneath your shoulder, not out here. That's not comfortable on the neck and the shoulder joint. So the elbow is directly underneath. Your palm is flat so the wrist bones aren't crossed. Now with your top hand, just feel, have you got a lumbar hollow like you would have in standing, a little arch? And you're going to just stay here for a moment. Keep your head on that line so you're not here. And then you're going to lift your hips up. That's it. Your shoulder want to shrug, pull it down. Come down, let your hip just kiss the mat, and then lift. And then come down. So you lift your hip and your arm. Lift. Come down. Lift. Come down. So just so you know what you're working, lift up, stay here. Get your finger and wiggle it and prod the soft flesh on the side of your waist, and you'll feel, even if there's soft flesh there, you'll feel there's a brick inside, and yet that's not normally a tight area, is it? Come down. One more time. Lift, hold, chest open, head back, and release. Marvelous. And you're going to come down onto your back. See, I told you it wasn't many. They're really good for your waist, and they support your spine. Now then, here we go. We've got our legs bent, feet hip width, knees hip width, in line with your pelvis. And I want you to put your hands on your hips like we do in class. Heels of the hands on the hip bones, fingers on the pubic bone, and just do a few rocks and arches. So as you tuck under, you squidge your waist into the floor. And as you release your spine, you create a big arch behind your waist. And you tuck under again. And when you do this, you can feel there's a ripple through from tail to neck. And it's nice. It releases the spine really well. Now, we don't want to get lovely and strong with our waist back on the floor and our pubic bone rocked up like that, because we'd look rather strange walking around if this was our residually strong place. So I want you to find the place where you're level. Pubic bone, hip bones are level. Arms by your side. Take a breath in. Relax your head and shoulders. And then exhale and let one knee lean out to the side without letting anything else move. Your pelvis particularly. Come up to the top. And then the other leg out to the side. Inhale up. So you're just going to carry on for a little while with what I call an alternating knee drop. It's not the toughest move in the book, but even now, 25 years down the line, I can feel my right leg goes out, everything feels held tight still. When my left leg goes out, there's just a tendency to want to lean left, and my right leg tries to tug as a counter even. So even after all this time, I know I have some imbalance, and that's okay. I just minimize the movement. I focus on the exhale because it helps me to squeeze. I think of using my pelvic floor just a little bit at the points where it's maybe a bit more tricky. And then, just in case you're gripping with your shoulders or elbows, Would you ever? Pick your arms up and hug a tree in front of you. Shoulders relaxed back, chest relaxed open. We've just got 4 more. Check your breathing. Exhale out. Inhale up to level. Exhale out. Inhale up to level. Last 2. Smooth, smooth, continuous flowing motion. Marvelous. Pause. Fold your right knee into 90 degrees. So moving on. Bring that leg back down. Float your left knee in. All you're doing is pivoting from the hip, floating the thigh up to vertical and the shin horizontal with the floor. And as your foot comes down, it lands like a little feather, and the changeover, the transition from leg to leg is really smooth. There's no rocking of the pelvis, no shift of body weight. You could put a spirit level across that pelvis and it would be so nicely held. And those of us that like to shove our ribs into the air, keep them held down. So can you feel there's this sort of build-up of tension in your tummy and your back? It's not just in the front, is it? Your back is holding this little arch. It's a full core workout, like a big boob tube around your middle, around your waist. It's holding strong. And that, whilst we can modify it, make it harder and play around with it, that is the essence of what we're really achieving here. Coordination of movement, breath, relaxing some body parts but squeezing others. And relax. When your foot comes down, just relax. A couple of tucks of the pelvis, tucking under and releasing, and then bring your knees up into your chest one at a time. Rock them in and out, or maybe have it circle round and just release your lower back. Feels nice. Now you're welcome to go onto your other side and turn away from the screen, or you can come up onto your side, twist yourselves over, and we'll just do our waist on the other side. So just like we did before, you're lying on your side, on the side of your hip, and your knees are bent up in front of you, feet are in line with your tailbone there. You can sag so you know where you don't want to be. You don't want this shoulder up, you don't want that, you don't want this pinching. Push that top hip down. See how the weight shifts down. The ribs have been lifted. Now I'm going to have to move this elbow to get it in the right place so it's vertically down and this can stay back and not poke forwards. That shoulder is pulled back, yeah? My head is on a diagonal. My arm is on my side and I am ready to go. Inhale, lift. Hold it. Chest up, heart up. Come down and just kiss the mat with your hip and then go again. Lift. Come down and tap the floor and lift. Now, I know the shoulder gets tired here, but actually you're adding to your bone density in your wrist, your forearm, and your upper arm as we do it. So go up and stay. Get your pinky. Give it a wiggle. Prod the side of your waist. Yes. Feels good, doesn't it, that? Hold it here. And then come down, tap the mat. Just got 2 more. Lift. And down. Keep that natural arch in your lower back. Don't let your bum tuck under. And release. Really well done. Come down onto your side and roll onto your back to finish. So bringing one knee into your chest, other knee into your chest. Now let your knees go wide and have a little rock from side to side. So you'll feel like you're rolling over the back of your waist. It's quite relaxing. You're welcome to just stay with this, or you can hold the back of your thighs and take your feet up to the ceiling. Not down here, but sort of straight up. So if you can, heels are pushing into the ceiling, as it were, point into the ceiling. And you can either rock here. This is happy baby pose from yoga. You're kind of rolling over the back of your kidneys. Or you can hold your calves or your ankles or the outside edge of your feet, drawing your knees down towards your thighs. Now, if you've got new hips and you've had new hips, this is not for you. You're going to need to keep your feet on the floor or much further away from you like this and just have a little rock. But it's a great hip opener. It's also a way of relaxing the pelvic floor because you've been lifting it quite a bit in class. And then bring your one foot to the floor, then the other foot comes down, arms by your side, no cushions under your head, pelvis neutral, 4 shoulder bridges to finish. Inhale. Exhale, press with your feet, squeeze with your thighs, rock your hips under and roll your spine like a piece of sellotape being peeled off the mat. Arms go over if you can, let them hang on the floor. Inhale. And melt your spine down one vertebra at a time. When you get down, arms come down. Doing it 3 more times. Inhale, feet are flat. Push with your feet, engage your legs, bottom. Scoop your tummy, post it under your ribs and roll up. So it's a real articulation move. Arms over. Inhale, relax your head and your shoulders and melt the spine through to the floor, one bone at a time. Arms down. Twice more. Breathe in. Exhale, feet, thighs, pelvic floor, bottom, roll up. Make that as smooth as you can. This time, arms up and over. And you're going to leave them just in the air. So you're on the tips of your shoulder blades. It feels like there's more weight across your upper back. Yeah? Keep your head central and roll down, but leave your arms an inch in the air. And for some of you, that will be a really nice mobilization of your upper thoracic spine in between your shoulder blades, all the way to neutral. Arms come down, and this is your last one. Inhale. Keep those knees parallel, feet flat, pointing forward, squeeze, roll, articulate, come up this time, arms up, hug a tree. You'll feel the back of your legs working, your bottom working. This is brilliant for strengthening around your lumbar spine. If you're worried about coming too high, just shy of the top is absolutely fine. Inhale and roll slowly. Marvelous. Slide your legs away. Arms over your head, have a full body stretch out. Good old wiggle. And if you can, dig your heels down, dig your shoulders down, push your hips up in the air. Big stretch. Tighten, tighten, tighten. And then flop. Let your head roll from side to side. Release your neck. And then head center. Slide one heel in, slide the other heel in. Rotate your knees onto one side. Use your hand to push yourself up into sitting. Fabulous. So we've done a bit of standing work, a bit of balance work, a bit of core work. Our ankles, knees, our hips have all worked with proprioceptive work and balance. That's really good for us. Plus we've worked our waist, we've worked our tummy, and we've worked our back. So a nice short and sweet workout that just hits all the right buttons. Hope you've enjoyed it.